Hey everyone, it's Nick here, and today we'll be talking about the brand new Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah, why the hell did they even want to make one in the first place? Back about a year ago, I think it was, I wrote a quick sort of review, not review, sorry, an article for the trailer. It was a teaser trailer that was pretty damn terrible, as a matter of fact. I watched it and I was like, oh my word, they're just going to turn this into a CGI fest. There's going to be no heart in it. Especially, of course, the fact that this was based on, well, no, it's a sequel to the 1995 movie Jumanji, starring, of course, the late Robin Williams, who sort of ingratiated himself into our lives. Not just with that movie, but in particular with that movie, because it was just such a damn good movie back in the day. The CGI back in '95 with the monkeys leaping around, the rhinos racing through hallways, a young Kirsten Dunst, for goodness sake. It was brilliant, and I absolutely loved it. I've seen it probably close to 20 times, because I've got two young brothers, and the best way of shutting them up when we were babysitting, or at least shutting them up so they can watch TV while I play video games, was to put the movie on loop. So we had to buy a couple of these VHS things. You youngins probably don't know, or millennials probably don't know what it is. Maybe hipsters do. Anyway, so what is the 2017 movie like? Well, of course, we're looking at a cast which is a little bit different to the first movie, in that these are adults. So the cast in this, the youngins, basically get whooped into a video game, which is sort of like a old Nintendo machine, more like an Amstrad actually, a Commodore 64. And they sort of land there as some of these absolutely brilliant people, like Dwayne Johnson, of course. He's like the sort of the hero guy. He has no weaknesses, but he does have a very good stare. I'm not going to say too much, I want to ruin the whole surprise for you. Then, of course, we've got Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Nick Jones. Karen Gillan. A bit of controversy, actually, with Karen Gillan's character. I first started liking her as an actress, and a lot more than that, because she got red hair, and I wonder why I like her so much. Anyway, she was, to me, the best companion of the Doctor. So anyway, with her character in this, she's quite scantily clad, and there were a whole bunch of journalists nailing the director, and the director trying to say to people, look, she's an avatar, for goodness sake, get over it, she's not. But at the same time, you can kind of see why, because she is extremely open, midriff, and wearing things that you would not really be wearing in a jungle, even if it is for, I suppose, actually, it's a video game, for God's sake. It's a video game, all right? But because this is kind of catered and sort of targeted towards children, you can see where people were worrying about it. One thing I liked about this movie is it actually brought that up, and it dealt with it in certain quite good ways. Not sure how long they dealt with it for, but you'll see what I'm saying. But I like the fact that they did actually mention it. Her character saying why, and me going, please don't do anything to change it. So yes, that's just me being hormone beast. Yes, thank you very much. But yes, so what was the actual movie like? Well, I went in there with Kervin yesterday, today's Wednesday, and we had very low expectations on this, and we, as reviewers, try and set our expectations pretty low when we're going into movies we don't think look great. That being said, the last trailer did get our hopes up a little bit, but that's probably riding the nostalgia wave. So we went in there and we watched the movie. Wow, that's all I can say. It is absolutely brilliant. It is very different to the first, in the sense that it is more for adults. There's a lot of adult humor in this that the first one does not have. I watched the first one recently, hasn't aged particularly well, but the characters are great, and like I said, very family orientated, a lot of heart in it. And that's what blew me away about this. First, the comedy is absolutely spot on, and usually Hart drives me insane. I don't like him in those drive-along movies, or whatever the hell they are. He's just too much, he's always laughing and going, and screaming like this, which he does do in this, but he does it in the right ways, or at least the director, the director, by the way, is Jack Kasdan, who's done things like Bad Teacher, with, I think there's Michelle Pfeiffer back in the day. Was it Michelle Pfeiffer? Probably not, who knows. But not really a director you expect to see it, but he balanced it so well between the comedy, which is every couple of seconds, I walked out like I'd just done an hour at the gym, and the heart as well that was behind that. And we have these kids thrown onto this island, Jumanji, they have a mission to do, and it's also very well catered towards my age group, sort of 35s to 40s. Somewhere there, I'm not going to tell you exactly where. But it's catered towards that because when we were young, we watched the first Jumanji, we loved it, we played board games back then. Then we went through the whole sort of gamer, as in video gamer stage, which a lot of us are still in, including myself. And they really, really played to that. And the character, I'm not going to say anything because it's so fun to see these things sort of rolling out in front of you. But he really does tap into that contemporary popular culture for adults who now have children. So the children are going to love one element of it, and that's going to be this absolutely brilliant CGI. The rhinos, you've got not cheetahs, jaguars. Was it jaguars and panthers? You have a bad guy who isn't really a really great bad guy. It's almost like he suffers from a Marvel thing, but even worse than a Marvel bad guy. But you can see he's only there to sort of drive the narrative, so I have actually no problem with it. But he's a real baddie. He's got haw-haws or creepy crawlies coming out of his ears and his nose and his mouth. So children are going to scream in delight for that. And I mean, I know I certainly was like, whoa, what, the kids are going to go mad about this. I think it is in 3D too. We actually didn't watch it in 3D. So I think it actually is a movie that will work really well in 3D, but just because of the place that we were, it doesn't really support good 3D, so I don't think we watched it. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, anyway, so the balancing was very well done. The adults are going to get a massive kick out of this. I actually think the adults are going to get more of a kick out of this than anybody under the age of, over the age. It's a difficult divide because you have to be a certain age to understand the sort of contextual jokes and references. That younger children will not get, but there's a sort of, I suppose, a sort of gap that people probably maybe between 13 maybe and 16 probably won't get it, but I think they still will really enjoy it because it's fun and it's really, really, like I say, really, really funny. It is quite violent though, which I was very surprised about. I mean, in the opening 15 minutes, you watch one of the someone get chewed up by a hippopotamus. The character thinks it's actually a rhino, but you know that's the character's little quirks. But it was pretty damn violent watching this person get sort of chomped and people reacting. You can imagine Jack Black screaming. You know, his character's actually a sort of, I don't know, a young girl who loves herself, loves the Instagram. And like I said, I don't want to go into too much character things here because I think that's going to be the surprise on this, is seeing them at the beginning and seeing them when they become their avatars. But yeah, it is quite a violent thing. I think there's going to be a lot of... If you're under 10, I would really advise children not to really go... If you're under 10, I suppose these days, for someone under 10, I probably should say under 6 these days. But it is, like I say, quite violent. A little bit of swearing. They dropped the S word a couple of times, the shit word. S word, Nick, seriously. But like I say, from 8, probably 8 I'd say, up, people are going to get a kick out of this. Like I said, there's a little crossover area there. Music soundtrack, absolutely brilliant. The CGI is also great in this, really great. We saw this from the trailers, and that was one of the reasons why we worried that it was going to be too CGI heavy and that they would take away from the characters. The characters are brilliantly fleshed out. You can see that they deliberately made them with flaws at the beginning so they can go through a sort of trial of, you know, retribution, or whatever when you call it, you know, when you grow through your the trials and tribulations, I suppose. Which of course they're going to, because it's a movie like that. You know, you're going to get characters that grow. It was fantastic watching Dwayne Johnson as I'm not quite sure the ages though. I always get mixed up with the Americans. I suppose 16 or 17 years old, because college over there is different to here, and yeah. But it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And some of the funniest bits, the guy's got a very expressive face. You know, watching him try to kiss somebody, for example, was one of the funniest things. That I was crying with laughter. I didn't actually know what was going on with the movie for about 4 or 5 minutes afterwards. But he was just very, very good. And the mannerisms of all of them, I mean, all of them. Jack Black, got to give you a thumbs up, mate. You're up and down movies, hit and misses, but in this, my goodness, watching you play a sort of 16-year-old girl who's completely into herself and oblivious to the world around her because she happens to be the sort of prom queen, would be the prom queen, the most popular girl at school. Yeah, you did a damn good job there, mate. This is a movie, like I said, we get to watch these movies because we're reviewers, but I will go and pay to watch this with my brothers, my younger brothers, just to see what they think of it. I'm going to get a kick out of seeing. I'm damn guaranteed that they're going to love the movie too. Like I say, it's not the same as the first one, and I think that people who expect it to be are going to be a bit disappointed there because, like I said, this is a 2017 movie, not a 1995 movie, and things have changed in 22 years. There are some nice homages there too, for, you know, Robin Williams' character, Parrish. What's his name again? Alan Parrish. That's of course the kid that was stuck there for 26 years in the first movie. They do a very similar thing here too. Well, I'm not going to go into it too much, but they have a sort of nice base, and so some of the things are quite regurgitated from the first movie. And the thing is, it still does it extremely well. All the characters are likable, except for the bad guy, of course. It's extremely funny, like I say. It's really, really funny. It ties itself into very much this new world of video games, which I think a lot of young kids are really going to love. And yeah, for me, this is This is the 2017 surprise hit for me. I think this is going to do really well at the box office. I really hope it's going to do well. You look at things like Blade Runner that didn't do particularly well, but you can see why they didn't. This is a everyman movie, every person movie that you will enjoy it, I think, no matter who you are. There's something in there for everybody, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, to me, everything worked very, very well in this. And like I said, the only bad thing really about it was the bad guy who was, the jokes worked very well. One or two hit and miss jokes, I think that maybe they're too American for me to have picked up on. But yeah, like I say, I couldn't stop laughing. I would give this a full 8 out of 10. I can't believe him saying that. I thought I was going to walk in there and come out with a 4.5, maybe a 5, like a sort of, because I'm angered, and nostalgia anger coming out there. But an absolute 8 out of 10 for me. I'll be very curious to see what Kervin says. This will be in Kervin's post. I haven't read his review yet. I'm actually filming this beforehand. Another reason I was worried going in is that the embargo, we watched it on Tuesday. Usually embargo means we can release our reviews on the Friday. This was not the case this time. This time it was on a Saturday, which is, to me, alarming because, if you don't want the reviews to go out, if the movie's going out on Friday, but I believe the movie's not going out on Friday. I think actually it is being released on Saturday, which is quite unusual too. So that was an alarm bell ringing. But when we walked out, Kervin and I, beaming, ear to ear, grinning like the Cheshire cats. And yeah, I think if you really want a great time, it's coming on the 22nd of December. Brilliant Christmas movie for everybody out there. And like I say, accessible to all, not just people who happen to celebrate Christmas. Catch you guys on the next side. On the flip side. If the world is flat, it's quite easy.